goes. Ugh. Very dirty walls. So this tenant's been in here since the beginning. Very little light there. Countertops are in good shape. Not too bad. Got a little bit of a gap in the wood frame up there. We can probably fix that. Very older appliances, but running okay. Hadn't tested the hood vent yet. A lot of cracks in the vinyl flooring. It's actually funny because this is probably one of the better apartments so far as the seams. It's not real cracked, or looks like she hadn't put a lot of dishes on that. Let's see if this hood vent works. Somewhat. Probably just needs to be cleaned. Fan is operational. Custom series by Whirlpool. Okay. A Roper. Stove and a GE refrigerator. Handles wonky. Stove's a little dirty. We'll replace all these inserts, get that fixed out. Ugh. Alright, so first off, it's sitting in here very crooked. So that tells me that thing's probably been pulled out a couple of times. Yeah, I'll admit. So typically in these apartments, what I'll do is I'll pull every one of these drawers out, take apart the entire drawer, sand it, and refinish it with lacquer on the inside, and it just freshens it up. I don't know that this apartment, I may not paint these cabinets. The last one I had to because it had a lot of heat damage, but these cabinets look to be in pretty good shape. So as much as I hate it, I may just leave it alone. A little bit of water damage under there, but typically if I get in there with a sander, finish it out, that'll usually knock that out. Okay, so this is a different knob than the other one. Oh wow, that's amazing. Okay, so the plastic pieces in this one are actually intact, which, you know, it's a good little spot for sponges and stuff. That's not too bad. Overall, I mean, this one's probably, I hate to say it, but probably in better shape than the other three when I took them over. So we do have an ADT alarm system here. That'll all have to be pulled out. Don't know what color that bucket is, but we won't be using that. Shelving system in here seems to be okay. A little cleanup. Don't see any rust on it or any missing pieces. Now these doors with that archway, one of the other tenants wanted these doors. She's a lower payer, so I'll probably take these out of here and put them into another unit. It's a custodial unit. She takes care of the trash and some of the lawn mowing services, so they get a cheaper rent, but even still. Okay, so air conditioning unit. Outside unit is a train. I don't see on here that this is actually a train indoor unit, but I know the compressor part outside, the outdoor compressor system is actually trained, so can't really get any better than that. But every one of these have been set up like this, and so what you get is a filter here in the bottom. Well, this one's like a 14 by 20 filter. So if you imagine you've got a dryer sitting right here, it makes it a little bit more difficult to change that out. So typically what we do is we enclose that area, close it all up, change that vent to actually accept a filter on the outside, so the tenant can actually open it and actually get a filter that fits in a slot there. You do lose that little bit of space, but at the same time, you're now pulling, you're pulling from living space instead of right next to the hot dryer. So the idea is that it should help lower their electricity bill because your return is now not right next to a dryer that might be running. Sorry for the lighting in here, folks, but the light that's in here is dead. We do have, washer hookups here. This is how they've plumbed all the AC condensation dumps. That's kind of weird. A.O. Smith did just recently replace one of the one of the hot water heaters, and dropped in this same very hot water heater. Core went bad on the original, but I haven't had a chance to look at this one, see what year this one's from. But typically that A.O. Smith, I mean, it's the regular Lowe's brand and seems to work okay. Fairly, it's not inexpensive, but it's not expensive. About $300. Thermostat, yeah, we'll probably end up replacing that. It's about $24. It's not a big deal, but it just gives me a little bit more peace of mind. The doors seem to be in okay shape. Once I get the carpet out of here, typically I stand these doors up and repaint them. Looks like somebody's already attempted to paint them, but they have a flat paint on them instead of, a sheen paint. So I can tell that they've been somewhat repainted. Doorknobs in this unit look like they've already been replaced. So that's pretty cool. That's a little bit of savings. Light switches, I tested these last night. Everything looked okay as far as the current. The last unit that I worked on, had to work on GFI, had to change that, and actually none of the electrical sockets in the kitchen worked. Interested to see, I've got a lamp that usually I go around and test with. And so I'll have to test every one of these and make sure that they're current, that they're pulling the current power. Faucet sink, it looks like the hot water comes out pretty quick, but it's missing the filter underneath. So that tells me it probably had a little bit of lime build up, and instead of, soaking it with some CLR or something, they probably just got rid of it. A couple of good sockets. The fan, holy crusted fan. Okay, so that thing has probably an inch of dust on it. It is amazing that the fan blades still turn. Probably end up taking that down. I've been putting in a lower flush unit with an LED in the rest of my units. So that'll probably disappear, as well as look at the crustiness on that. But you'll be amazed. I'll be able to take that down, take the one in the kitchen down, with a little bit of cleanup, some scrubbing, maybe another top coat of spray paint. Those clean up pretty well. We got one decent window here and one not so decent window here. Typically I change these blinds out and put a single blind. It's just easier for the tenants. But this window, not sure if you can see it, but yeah, that's a baseball sized crack right here. That'll actually get replaced. One of the glass guys, Dr. Glass here in town, he does a lot of good work with that. So that's a little work. Looks like one of the locks is broken on it. Well, okay, both sides. Not real sure what we're going to do about that just yet. Those typically lock it in when the sash is up and, you know, hold it in place. But as you can see, there's that train. But yeah, so that window, I can tell I'm going to have a little bit of work with that. Overall, though, I mean, as far as carpet goes, this carpet's all going to disappear. This will be a vinyl on the first floor. Got the dumpster coming tomorrow, so good fun there. This is the first floor half bath. Relatively clean as far as what I can tell, because yeah, definitely got some electrical issue there, because that is locked in the off position. So I'm not sure if it's got a ground issue, fan cuts on, but definitely there's something going on with that switch. Also, side note, those are probably not the screws that belong in this door. So yeah, okay, that typically means that this hinge has failed over time, and at some point they had to put bigger screws in it to hold it. So I'm not sure. We may have to do some excavating on that. The fan looks like crap. It looks like it has UPS stickers on it that are actually holding it to the ceiling. That's interesting. But yeah, typical with these apartments though. So as you can see, the carpet is just way outlived its usefulness. You got carpet, you know, flared out there, and then carpet flared out here. There's another section up by the kitchen, and up closer to the front door, right here at the laundry. So I mean, this carpet is probably, I don't know, it's probably been down here for 10 years, and it's just well worn out. And that vent right there, that's fixable. Typically I can take and straighten that out, repaint it to match. When we go back with the flannel gray, we'll actually paint that to match the rest of the interior. Now there's something. Looking through here, I can actually see daylight in that hole. So I know this pane is probably, oh yeah, she's loose. Okay. Not the first time I've dealt with that. The last unit I had to replace the entire front door. Now this one, it's hard to find these skylights, the skylights on the side, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. I had to drive to Calhoun to find the same matching pair because I want all 4 units to look alike. But it's doable, and I can tell somebody's knocked off all the interior on these anyway, because so this door has obviously been replaced already. They just didn't finish it out because you've got part of the trim here, part of the trim there, but nothing in between it, and nothing down there at the bottom. And that's why you've got all the air coming in. So this side where the hinge is sturdy. So I'm figuring this is going to be an easier fix than the last one. Steps. Oh, where to start? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we'll do the typical thing. All this carpet will disappear from the steps. It'll have hardboard risers and then oak steps. It's a really nice finish once we do that. And then this handle. This piece is somewhat loose, but I'll probably end up just sanding that down, repainting it, because it's really glossy right now, so it doesn't match anything. But I'll probably end up redoing that. These light fixtures in the hallways, those I have always been replacing. We go with a for like 20 bucks, change out the fixture and put in one that's actually a Bluetooth speaker. It's just, you know, it's nice because you can actually play music upstairs, downstairs, the whole 9 yards. This isn't too bad. Actually has all its supporting brackets. The last one did not. No rust to speak of on those shelves, so those shelves can be removed once this is repainted. Nobody will ever know. This carpet gone. Door going into the master looks okay. It's not too bad. Smoke alarms, none of them's hooked up. That light fixture is gonna go. That's weird. Never noticed that. But as you can see, the carpet's at its max life in here. Probably a pet stain, or 2, or 3. Got a little hole in the wall here. That's not a big issue. I will eventually have to cut into that wall anyway. All of the diverters for the tubs I've had to replace so far because they would leak. And it leaks downstairs in the kitchen in every single apartment. So I did find out that it's that diverter that's causing that. So that's good. And it's light work as far as, you know, sheet work damage. Not a big deal. Window in here, not too bad. Blind is actually fairly clean in here. Yeah, a little bit of caulk. Got a little bit of opening there and down there. Yeah, I'm not sure about saving that. In the master bedroom, they have this full walk-in closet. Whoa, that harkens back to Savannah. I think Nanny had a light fixture just exactly like that in the kitchen. But anyway, so yeah, they've blue taped this one. That one just needs, you know, some end pieces to cover. But as far as, you know, the hanging equipment in here is good. The blind itself looks fairly new. A little bit of sheetrock damage there, that's easy to fix. Looks like we've had a little bit of water intrusion down here. I have to check that out. Check the caulking on the outside, make sure everything's up to snuff. But typically when you see damage there and damage there, it means it's coming in at the top of the window. But we'll figure it out. A little bit of artwork down there. Yeah. Anyway, so this ain't too bad. All the baseboard looks to be in one piece. There's a small crack right there, but I'll be able to salvage the baseboard. Once we get this thing, you know, where we're looking at the subfloor, it'll be a lot better. But again, every doorknob, except for the master bed, looks like it's been replaced because these are newer versions and they're the round brass. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so they put a fan in the guest room, but there's never a fan in the master. Okay, so that's another upgrade that I typically always do is I always put fans in, and then we always put screens on the windows as well. My tenants, you know, when I first took over, they were paying like $700 a month. With some of the upgrades, we've actually bumped that up to $925. So, you know, I mean, to not have a fan in your master bedroom and it's just not right. Got a little bit of landscaping to do back here as well. I noticed this window yesterday. This one does not lock, this one locks. So that tells me it's a little bit out of square, so I gotta do some work on this window. But that tree is like less than a foot from the window. So, and then there's also a power line in it. But it comes from the adjacent property. So yeah, there's a power pole on our property that goes through that bush line to the next house. And it's really, really close. So at this point, I'm gonna have to do something either with Georgia Power or the tenant next door, see if we can drop like a tent pole here in the corner of his property and try to get that wire up, because that wire literally, it might be like 12 foot above my sidewalk in the back. So got some work to do there. This doesn't look that bad. I've got some sort of damage here on the ceiling. Looks like there might be a little bit of water intrusion coming in from the roof. So definitely got to do something with that. Yeah. Bathroom, let's check out the fuse panel first. Okay, so fuse panel is marked. Everything looks okay. A lot of opening spots, so that's good for future. And then, let's see, that says furnace, so that means, why do we have a furnace and an AC? So we have an AC and a furnace, but I don't have a furnace. Huh. Okay, definitely got to check that out, see where that guy's going. Kitchen, hallway, 15, well that's 11 and 13. 11 and 13 says hot water heater. So then we get to the kitchen, the hallway lights, kitchen GFI, kitchen GFI, okay. And then you got, of course, dryer or stove and dryer. But yeah, not too bad. There's actually, number 18 says it's for a microwave. No, 17 is for a microwave. That's a 20 amp fuse. It's not bad, that's nice to have. Okay, in here, let's see, it's not too bad. No marks in the floor to speak of. It's actually, you know, fairly clean, but again, you can kind of see some telltale signs here. A lot of water pocket there. That bolt is fairly rusted, and I'm looking at all the rust around this fixture here. Not to mention, I'm missing the shower head. Okay, but that draws my attention up here to the surround, and I can see that there's a lot of water damage on the surround, which makes me wonder if the surround on the tub looks like that, how efficient is that fan? I hear it running, but I don't know where it's dumping out to. So that's going to be a trip to the attic. I can tell there's a little bit of a dark border around the top of the ceiling in the corners. So again, that tells me, as well as there's a nail pop out there, we might be getting a lot of condensation that's not evacuating the bathroom. If it's not, then that's another culprit of, you know, the fan is either blocked, or I have heard complaints that, you know, chipmunks or squirrels get up in that ceiling area, the attic space, and they gnaw through the exhaust fan, the trail that's supposed to dump on the back. Okay, so not a good design how they designed this, but it is what it is. But the thing is, it's got to be maintained. So have to take a look at that. Yeah, so pretty basic. That's interesting. So on the door, apparently the tenant may have at one time had some kind of latch installed on the door for locking. Huh, that's great. Totally ruined the mill work, but it's okay. We'll fix that. So that's a little bit of a walk around. Wow, that's a hammer. A little bit of walk around about, what I start with, and that way you can see, over time, dirty, dingy, what we end up with. Well, that fan's really pulling now. You can hear it all the way to the steps. It's really roaring. Huh. So I don't think there's a lot of issue there. It's just a really dim light, that's all. This whole kitchen is very dim. Attributed to that light fixture, I believe. Maybe if it's pitch dark, maybe you can see better in here. I don't know, but that's definitely something that has to be fixed. Now, typically, like these hall lights, I changed those out and put in can recess lighting. I have them. Cost me like $6 a piece. So I mean, the can recess lighting that I put in is LED, and it's super, super bright. So works well for the tenants, and gives me a little bit more peace of mind that they're actually paying for something that is nice. So yeah, like I said, this is a typical unit here. Can't wait to get started tearing this thing down and show you guys the progress and how it goes. Anyway, hit me up. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.